Now, I'll be honest, when I heard that there would be an animated Superman series, I was hyped. I love Superman, and I've seen a majority of the movies, the series with him. Then I saw the trailer, and I was sort of mixed about it. It's clear to see that it has a very anime-esque style to the animation, and the story we couldn't really say, we couldn't really guess, besides it being a Superman origin story. How right I was, sort of. Let me explain. It seems as though the writing to the show has taken liberties to change a few things about Superman. Well, not really a few things, a lot of things about Superman. His origin and even the characters themselves. Now, I will say, we will be getting into spoiler territory, so if you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch the video, watch the show. If you want to watch the first 3 episodes, it's on Max. Tell me your thoughts after watching this video if you do come back. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start with the positives. I honestly like the art style. It's new, it pops, it's honestly very fluid, and the character designs are pretty good as well. Everyone has been raving about Lois more and more. That or either Clark and Jimmy, well, that's a given. Jimmy's Jimmy. Clark's design makes sense for a younger Superman. They race swap Jimmy, but honestly him as a character matters more than his skin color. And you know, they got him to be the young, annoying, energetic personality, yet he lacks the sense of danger that, you know, we normally see in Jimmy. But whatever, right? You know, it's them just being kids, I guess. Well, not really kids, they're young adults, but whatever, right? Now let's get to what I'm mixed about. This show reminds me of a webtoon, not any particular webtoon, it just feels like a webtoon series. If you have ever read the Zatanna series, the Red Hood series on webtoon, then you might know what I'm talking about here. The smaller details don't really get explained. Villains we know just show up and aren't even created like they were in the older shows. The direction for Clark and even Lois don't even make sense to me. Like, they don't even start off as reporters, but interns. And this also is connected with Jimmy too. Like, he's not even like a photographer or anything. He's also an intern. And all this is honestly a bit criminal. In the show, the trio are young adults trying to break into the reporters world. Don't know how I feel about this, as Lois and Clark are talented reporters that don't need each other to make a name for themselves. Hell, Clark is literally the top reporter back in Smallville for the most part, and Lois is the top reporter for the Daily Planet for the most part, right? They both made a name for themselves, and Clark moved over to Metropolis, and you know, they both are very, very prominent reporters in their own field, in their own fields together, right? So them just needing each other in this show to come up in the world of reporting, it's a little bit you know, it's a little bit Something else I'm mixed on is like the Clark and Lois romance. It's common knowledge that Lois gets feelings for Superman and ignores Clark. As Clark, he has to maintain his identity with a facade of being clumsy, boring, and simple, while Superman keeps her at arm's length. But it's also the opposite of Clark, that this attracts Lois, but Superman isn't his whole identity. He is more than that. But he can't truly be with Lois due to his work as a hero. At some point, he needs to tell her the truth, and that is like the whole dynamic between like him being Clark and him being Superman, with Lois wanting one but not the other. But you know, they're both the same person, so it's a thing. It's a thing that I like, but you know, it's not really necessarily here either yet, or not going to be here at all. Lastly, so far I'm very mixed with the appearance of the villains in this show. Like, they got Amanda Waller here, and even Slade too, like a younger Slade, I guess. I don't know why. Banshee is here, even Livewire is here, which I think could be interesting, but there's no introduction to them. There's no origins, and you know, they're honestly underwhelming. Like, even what was it, Banshee, and she has like a little group, like they're just bumbling messes, and it's hard to really care about them. Hell, Lex hasn't even made an appearance yet, and it's episode 3 out of like what, 6, 8 or something. He hasn't even made an appearance yet, and if he does, side note, I need him with long hair. I need him to have his full long mane of hair, and him stressing out over Superman, he just cuts it all off at the very end or something goofy, because I think it'll be funny, and I don't think a lot of people aren't ready for long-haired Lex Luthor. I think it'll be funny. Now for the bad. The things I didn't like. I don't really like how they changed Krypton's fate. In the second episode, it is hinted that the system Krypton was in had a yellow sun, which obviously gave them powers. However, some enemy went ahead and made it a red sun to depower them and finally destroy them. Honestly, this big old change really did change my feelings towards the show. Like a really big part of me started to dislike the show off of this basis alone, because I didn't like how they changed the origins and what happened to Krypton. This feels very Viltrumite-esque, very like the Viltrumite vibes, but we will see how everything goes. Maybe something else happens. I don't know. Maybe it's something added to it. We don't know yet. The next thing is Clark's ship. Instead of a small baby-sized ship, this ship is fucking massive. And also, there's this hologram of Clark's biological dad that is speaking to him in Kryptonian. However, they sent him to a world where Kryptonian isn't even a language. So how the fuck would this work? This makes no sense in the story unless the ship was supposed to go to a Kryptonian colony or something. I don't know. I don't know the lore to this at all yet. Again, this is episode 3. We don't know yet. But it's just a little bit odd that they chose to do this when obviously if they're sending him to another world that they don't know, why would they expect him to know Kryptonian? It doesn't make sense to me, honestly. It doesn't. Instead of the classic Superman suit that we all know and love being made by his mom, the suit is made by the ship. And even at this point, Clark doesn't know what he is. This goes to my second point. He doesn't know what he is, even though he has unlocked his powers at a young age, and he still doesn't know much about his powers. He still hasn't even mastered his powers, his abilities yet, which is odd. The quirky characters types that appear in the show are very anime-esque. Jesus, they even have like Cat Grant's character do the annoying anime girl laugh, the ones that feel superior to everyone else, the kind of laugh, which is super annoying. And when I heard it, it made me cringe. It always makes me cringe in anime as soon as I hear it, no matter if it's dub or sub. It makes me cringe. You guys know the one. The other person literally just acts like an idiot. Some of the villains' personalities are a bit quirky too. And Jimmy, and honestly, Jimmy's Jimmy. Although Lois here is portrayed to be honestly not a good person, and paired with Jimmy, who for some reason goes along with everything and even purposely going into danger, says a lot. Jimmy and Lois don't normally find trouble. Trouble finds them. Here, Lois is a blatant liar, manipulator, and seems to be fine putting both Jimmy and Clark's careers at stake on their first fucking day. Keep in mind, they are interns. She has no problem stealing a line to get what she wants, and that's supposed to be Lois Lane. Maybe some occasional sneaky behavior, but a lot of these problems, a lot of these issues that I have would have been resolved if she was just a reporter. If everybody else would just report her, and Jimmy would have been just an amateur photographer, honestly. When Clark calls her out on her shit, she reflects on it, admits her mistakes, and then later does it again. She doesn't care. She has this ends justify the means aspect mindset, and honestly, it isn't flattering to her at all. Honestly, I'm not really feeling her character at the moment, but her design is very solid. I'll just say that. Small side note of gripes I have. I know that I've said that the animation is good and the style is fine, but damn, do I notice some small details that take away from it. Like in episode 1, where the big robots are beaming and beating him up, his clothes only seem to be getting dirty, sort of, while Clark is given trouble. He does get hit a few times, he does get beamed a few times, but apparently his clothes don't get torn or anything. And it's like they're more invulnerable than him. It baffles my mind when I was watching it. I'm like, wait, why isn't there any tears or anything? What's going on here? Keep in mind, he doesn't even have the Superman suit yet. He's just using regular old construction clothes to wear to hide his identity. and he's been getting beat up and beamed, and his clothes aren't even like messed up, maybe like dirty, but there's no wear and tear on him. And like he was even given a black eye, and I'll get back to the black eye right now. Like I was like, when the fight is done, right? When the fight is done and he has to go ahead and see Lois again, the black eye is gone. Wow, the black eye just gone. So convenient, right? In the same episode, Jimmy is taking pictures of everything, right, while standing still. Then towards the end, when they show the photos over to the editor-in-chief, the photos are all shaky and outright bad, when Jimmy is a goddamn photographer, and he's supposed to be a very talented photographer. So this is just a really lame way to like further the plot in the next episode, to find Superman, to find proof of the Superman, right? So it was a little on my part. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. The third episode did catch me off guard, with the recorder Lois Lane had to interview Superman just kind of disappearing from her hands. It was a little weird when it was changing perspectives, where they didn't add an animation for her putting it away. It just disappears. It was a little bit odd. What I did notice in the show, the three, Jimmy, Clark, and Lois, are young adults here, and their jobs are interns. We don't know if they're getting paid or not. I don't know if they're getting paid or not. Yet Jimmy and Clark both share an apartment together, a pretty nice one. Where is the money coming from to pay for all this? I don't know. Is Ma and Pa giving him money on the side to pay for it? Is the economy in Metropolis so good even interns are making bank? I'm confused about this. Like maybe I missed something. I don't know. A lot of this show gives me mixed feelings, and there are some things that I like and some things that I don't like. But I still follow the show because I'm sort of interested in where it leads, where it goes. But that's about it. I'm just a little bit curious to see where this show goes and where it ends, and if there's going to be season 2 or anything. I'm kind of interested in like the origins of Krypton and what happened there, and I just want to know, right? Like what are they changing here to justify the show being a show? I just want to know. And there we have it. These are my thoughts. Let me know yours, and we can have a conversation about the show. If not, stay safe, healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and see you guys next time. Love you guys.